Alright boys, welcome to the second semi-final. We have our best of 5 and it is up to the top right on merry-go-round, our first map in the series. Impact for Axiom going up against his Zerg opponent to the top left. There we have Life, and already Impact starting things off with a 9 pool here. Really interesting. The victor of the first semifinal today was 4GG, so it's definitely going to be a Terran versus Zerg that we're seeing in the final, and Impact in this game wants to be the aggressor. Life has played an amazing series earlier against Party, not really in the sense that we saw that epic, long and drawn-out game that everybody was kind of expecting, but that he proved himself to be pretty cheese-proof after the initial double gateway proxy that we saw from Parting. So against can rushers, apparently, Life is very, very solid. At this point though, in a Zerg versus Zerg, it's a completely different ball game, and we have even, do we have gas take, or does he decline? Yeah, actually, like, it's going to be a build with gas apparently here for him too, so not just going to be an early pool and him trying to put some pressure on his opponent with early Zerglings. Instead, we have him at this point just like going for gas as well, so probably going to see a Baneling variation, and Life is going into a hedge first, so from that perspective it's a pretty decent move here from Impact. The Overlord for Life goes up to the top right first though, so he's going to see what's happening in just an instant once that those Zerglings are trying to leave the base. Gas is already being mined, but Life will see what he's up against, and if you defend against something like that, wow, even delaying the pool even more, getting his own extract out and squeezing in additional drones. The Overlord spotted the Zerglings now, so he needs to somehow figure that out, but there comes the Baneling nest into action, and for Life this is getting pretty tricky. He really needs to micro the hell out of his drones here if he wants to win this game. This is not going to be easy, like not at all. This is going to be extremely difficult for him to do. We have the Zerglings on the map just heading over to the left side. If you look at the harvester count, it's 16 against 9. That's of course the downside that you have when you're Impact in this case. You invest a lot in the early army, so you need to do damage. You're forced to do damage, and that's exactly what you need to do. What he needs to do here. But the Baneling nest is about to be done, and once that's the case, we are going to see the Banelings in there, and that's really the danger to Life. If that was only a normal early pool without any Banelings, it would have been so much easier for him to defend that, but as is, the first Banelings on the way, it all comes down to his ability, to Life's ability to dodge those. Of course he waited with the Larva so they can build 6 Zerglings at a time, and the Queen is also being built, but this is looking like it's gonna be very, very troublesome for him. Oh, first detonate, already taking down a few of the Harvesters. He lost 3, he lost 5, but he needs to kill way more than that. It's 9 against 12, and there are the Zerglings exactly where they're supposed to be. The Baneling with a hit, and this is putting a huge dent into Life's performance here. That GG is being dropped as Impact goes into the game and just slaps Life in the face, takes game number 1, and therefore the lead in the series at the second semi-final of the Caseking Christmas Cup. Up to the top right, in game number 2, we have Impact. He started with a 9 pool in the last game and also invested into gas, invested into the Banelings, was able to take down Life here, gets that early lead in the best of 5, and those Axiom players, Todd was putting it into words earlier when he said that they are always underestimated and they go far in tournaments, and that's exactly what we're currently seeing here. Impact not only reaching the semis, but then being able to also like just take the game, the first game of Life. It is a best of 5, of course. We're still looking at the semifinals here. There's a lot of money on the line. Life this time the one who wants to be the aggressor. It's a 2-player map. He goes into the 9 pool, and let's see if he's actually dropping the gas as well. Is he trying to give Impact a taste of his own medicine and just like saying, listen buddy, in case you go for the same build, I'm going to be ready because, well, I have the better micro than you do, and I'm going to face you just head on. But as you can see here, we have the cancel on the gas, so it looks more like Life is going to play a different style here, with maybe even an expansion behind that at some point. Impact is not going... He actually sends the drone out now. Sends the drone out now and goes straight for the expand. So Impact is switching it up quite a lot. He goes from a build where he just says, alright, I'm not getting expand, I'm going to 9 pull into gas, into the complete opposite, dropping the hedge here, trying to play mind games with Life, which is extremely ballsy. Life is one of those guys. I saw Life come back in a best of 7 after he was down 3 games in a Zerg versus Zerg, which is like insane in itself. So this kid is so damn good, and for Impact to really start things off with a win is already a major victory, but he can really pull a lot here now. We have gas started for Impact, we have the pool on his way for him as well, and as you can see currently we're having life with a bit of a variation. He's not going into gas, he's not going into banelings, he has instead just the queen. Takes the gas then after all, could go for a cancel there once again for the oversupply if he wants to throw down a base, but he wants to have more Zerglings first. The expansion over here is not being attacked just yet, and life is letting that gas get through, but he's still starting to do some pressure here. Has the Zerglings now on the way into the main base, and let's see how Impact is going to react to this. Without the banelings, this is extremely difficult to really pull off in regards to like doing a ton of damage and finishing the game here. So Life's idea is more of doing some damage and maybe forcing a cancel on this hatch, which he gets. The cancel is there, so the expansion is not going to become a problem, but the harvester count is still 16 to 10 in favor of Impact. So Life needs to do some damage. He has no other choice. He needs to do something, and he's trying to do that. He moves in now, but we have a nice micro by Impact, always putting the drones into that small pocket so that you can't really attack them, and that buys him so much time. So of course, mining time lost, but still, Life trying to just equalize that score. It's Ling versus Ling, and the Ling count is much better for Life. Impact is actually fighting. Impact is fighting this. Oh my god, like he lost a fair share of harvesters already, loses the Zerglings. This is trouble. Impact is gonna have a queen in just a second, but even more mining time has now denied to him, and the Zerglings are retreating. Life is looking at 17 harvesters himself. He's trying to snipe that drone in the back, doesn't get it though, and just retreats for now. Ooh, that harvester down here at the bottom, a bit of a graphic bug that we have there, but yeah, still hiding there with his Zerglings, and well, for now we have even Life now with the gas that he has going into the baneling nest down here at the bottom, and that's of course now a great move for him. It's not so much only that he has the same harvester count or the same amount of them as his opponent. No, it's like the gas that he has. That gas gives him options, and he goes into speed much faster than Impact does, and gets the baneling nest at the same time. Impact decides that he needs a baneling nest, like he needs something to deal with this, and so he drops the baneling nest first. That is going to help him. With slow Zerglings he can just like push his opponent back, but now with speed upgrade and baneling nest, Life has a lot of potential for aggression. He himself goes of course in the expansion as well, so it's kind of them equalizing the score to a certain extent. But it's just that extra amount of Zerglings that we have for Life, and the next attack is gonna hit at the bottom. He's not gonna try to go in the main base, maybe just split a few units off and try to go for that, but what he's more likely to do is just like go with the speed against the banelings of his opponent. That's the massive advantage that he has here. You can literally run circles around your opponent's banelings when you have speed and your opponent doesn't. You can engage, you can disengage, you can do whatever you want there as long as you pay attention. And Life is not one to flunk his micro there, at least not in the past. Here comes Impact even with a spine crawler, and he'll need it. We have one baneling that we have. Can he sneak past those banelings? He doesn't do a decent job at that for now. Moves into the main base, and he's gonna try and morph those two into banelings as well maybe. No, he's just attacking units here. He's attacking units and he gets not even one. Not even one. Didn't kill anything here just yet. 2 harvesters were killed already. That's all that he got there. Earlier in the game, he had a chance to maybe kill a few more, but he didn't want to sacrifice his Zerglings. He has a pretty sick Zergling count if you compare it to what we see for Impact. 25 to 20. The harvester count in favor of Impact though, and a solid defense here. Double Queen, banelings at the ramp too, and he has that spine crawler. So very unlikely that Life is going to be able to break through this. The speed upgrade is of course helping Life a lot, but Impact is still in a spot where he is safe for now. He has his own speed upgrade on the way, and Life is getting a lot of banelings now. He actually wants to fight this. He wants to go up against this. Good trade here, by the way, with one Ling against the baneling. What? He doesn't get it! Look at that! Somehow Impact still saved that. Job well done. Baneling going in for the detonate there, and here we have the Baneling force of Life. Life is moving in, his army supply is good. The trades, oh my god, those money Banelings for Impact, the perfect detonation. Did you see that he moves into the middle of all of the Banelings that we have for Life, just detonates them, and he's just barely on the edge of all of them, but he takes them down. That was incredible. It was really good. 2 Banelings for 7. Wow, what a play. What a great play here by Impact. Like, holy cow. That was absolutely incredible. And an Overlord for Life is now also dying in the main base. That is supply blocking Life. That supply blocks him. And Impact is... Impact is playing an excellent game here. He has a second spine crawler building. Life is instead starting to take into the lair now. He wants to have lair for this. and already a bit of counter aggression by Impact. He's just running in now that his own speed upgrade is completed. He can start to move out on the map, and that's exactly what he's doing there. Very little in regards of defense, and a few of those drones are going to die for life. He still has a decent count, so he's at 39 against 35. But still, this game, very cute moves that we had by both players, but especially Impact with that Banelink detonation there. That was a big win. The drones, well, you're not SCVs, boys. Like, don't get excited there. He's not pulling the boys or anything. Like, the drones realize that they are playing the wrong race here, so they decide to just like move back again and go back to work. Ah, good hit again for Impact. Like, those Banelink detonations by his are so much better than the lives, at least for now. The queen is already down, and now the lings are gone. But the queen kill is pretty big. It's only 1 queen against 3, and of course there's not going to be another inject there. The good thing is that we still have, well, what about the main base? That queen still has some excess energy, so it could go and just move between the bases and try to drop that. Spire play that we see by Life is going to give him map control. But what does Impact do? Let's have a bit of a look what Impact is currently trying to do here. He's taking down another Overlord, which is already a small achievement in itself. Resources lost 2,200 against 2. It's basically those 2 Overlords that we saw being sniped making the difference. But the third base by Life, the move into Spire to control the map with Mutalisks. The Spire tech also for Impact, so they're going toe-to-toe in regards to tech. But Life is really trying to pressure Impact even more. But the third base for his opponent has been dropped there now too. A bit later that for himself, but still, this is a pretty tense game that we have there. And Life somehow is still slightly ahead of his opponent. So right now, as you can see, we have double gas already taken, and gas becomes important if you play Spire versus Spire. It's probably one of the most really important resources for Zerg in particular, and if you have the extra gas over your opponent, that what allows you to get more Mutalisks or more tech units, and this is usually resulting in you getting a win there. Oh my god, like that hit hurt. 11 Harvesters killed. He's gonna get more than that, isn't he? If he targets well with the Zerglings that he has, he might be able to get another kill there. In the middle of the map, even another battle. We do not have any upgrades for those units just yet. This is the second game of the best of 5, of course. Just a quick reminder, the scoreboard tells the story. We have 1 victory for Impact so far. 12 Harvesters killed against 2. But still only a slight lead in Harvesters for Impact. Oh, that bait! Straight into the Baneling. Very well done here. Expansions are up for both. Impact a bit later with the gas. Saturation, is it already there? Does he saturate those gases right away? 7 Mutalisks are building for Life now, but we have, sorry, not for Life, but for Impact. For Life, you already have them on the map. Doing really well here on sniping the first few Overlords now too. So this is going to become a battle of gas. It's going to be extremely important for both players to just make sure that their opponent is not in a position where they can mine as much gas. So oftentimes you see a player move in and try to just snipe one of the extractors. Snipe a few of the Harvester drones, hoping that your opponent doesn't replenish those immediately, and the counter aggression towards the third base is always important. If you leave your base just undefended for a few seconds, you're in a great spot to lose the game, just because you lose the Harvesters, you lose the income, it starts snowballing from there. And the interesting part is that Life, even though that in this game we had him with more resources lost and taking quite a few hits, especially from the Banelings, still had an overall supply. Like, he's at 100 against 93, a 10 supply lead. We have him with the armor upgrade taken over the attack upgrade, which is actually great for fights. It's also something that is a bit more expensive than the attack upgrade itself. So for Life, all is well right now. We have double Spore Crawler for Impact. Life doesn't actually invest into Spore Crawlers at all. He doesn't even have a single one. Spore Crawlers are one of the things that Blizzard changed, because when they introduced Heart of the Swarm, we had just like always these Mutalisk versus Mutalisk fight, where sometimes 60 Mutalisks were controlled by a single player, which was insane. So Blizzard just said, well, we need something that makes it so the Mutalisks don't dominate this matchup anymore. And they came up with a pretty clever trick. They just said like, alright, from now on, Spore Crawlers do extra damage to bio units. And well, the only flying bio unit in the game that would matter at this point is the Mutalisks. Of course, you have the Broodlords and the Corruptors and Vipers there as well, but Mutalisks were the unit that was most affected. And here we have that battle now as we speak. We have 21 against 18 Mutalisks, and that's the snowball effect that you can observe there. The transition into Infestors is usually what we see at some point from the player that loses this fight. Right now, Life is kind of winning it. We have, in regards to upgrades, both those upgrades done, but that armor upgrade is actually doing a really good job there. 18 to 14 Mutalisks Mutalisks now. He could get an Overlord, and he does. Snipes the Overlord, still in a great spot, gets more Overlords, at least if he wants them. But look at how low those units are, especially for Impact. But Impact is taking the overall supply lead. He doesn't send his queens, and he doesn't have a queen here to help him out. But the Mutalisk count is just like better, getting better and better for life. But the repositioning of the Spore Crawler helped out with this. And one thing that we have is the counter aggression down to the bottom where the third base is taken out, and that's probably the biggest deal just sort of yet. The Mutalisk count of life is starting to plummet down a bit. The problem for him is that, of course, the Mutalisks for Impact are spawning right here in the battle, and there's still a base there at the natural for Impact. So whereas Life lost his third, Impact still has all three bases, and the Mutalisks are put into a corner, so suddenly Life is already down in the Mutalisk count. Like, he lost Mutalisks, way too many of them. He was winning the fight earlier, but then the reinforcements of Impact spawned right at this base, and now suddenly Life is looking at an extremely tricky situation. He has the better harvester count still. He's at 44 to 37 in drones, but he doesn't have that third base anymore. And that's the big problem. Once again, without the third base, without the extractors, you miss out on gas. Your opponent gets the additional Mutalisks. He's building them right now. We have Impact getting a second upgrade. Life doesn't have that. Life is not even starting that upgrade because he cannot afford it. So now Impact is starting to saturate his three bases again. He still needs to saturate the gases that we see over there, but for Impact it's now also a case that he needs mineral income, so I guess he's going to delay that for just a few seconds. There it is already. Didn't saturate the second one. But Impact is in a pretty decent spot now. With that extra upgrade, he will have a very good shot in those fights, and his count in Mutalisks is already up 16 to 16, with Impact building another 2, another 3, getting that additional upgrade. So pretty back and forth game between the two of them. A really nice Zerg versus Zerg actually, but Life needs to be careful. Like, losing that third base definitely didn't help him, like not at all. That was something that he probably didn't expect, and you have to see it from a player's perspective as well. They have to jump between the battle down at the bottom where they try to defend and then up at the top, and that's exactly what he was doing there. So now Life is in that situation where he's the one who is a bit closer to home and can use the reinforcements, but that is snowballing fast with that extra upgrade that we have for Impact. Life is gonna fall down in the amount of units that he has, and well, that is looking pretty tricky for the Mutalisk count there. But the Zergling battle is still going on. Life is losing the Mutalisks, but the funny thing is that for now actually he was able to win that fight down at the bottom. The reinforcements for Impact with Mutalisks aren't there yet. Even though he has more, Life was able to push him back there, and I cannot believe that Life is still able to just like take it like that. He did so, like, Impact did so well. He has that extra upgrade, but Life didn't really lose that fight down to the bottom. He traded very efficiently against his opponent's Mutalisks. If you look at the units lost, it's 35 against 30, a very similar account. There's no queen for the for 8 against Antia. There's also no Spore Crawlers. We talked about that earlier. Life just looked at it and said, like, well, I don't need those guys. So now we have both of them just going blow for blow, and in regards to the income, it should be very, very similar. Roughly 800 minerals per minute for both of them. We have around 600-700 gas per minute, so that is fairly similar. Army size, if you look at that, it's 55 versus 51. And Life, even though he lost that one battle at the beginning, he lost his third base, he's still back. Like, he's still in there. And that is just the amazing part about it. But Impact hasn't given up here just yet, and he is ahead in the series. If he takes a second game, if he takes a 2-0, that would be great for him. A quick detonation that we had down here. Harvesters killed overall 25 against 27. These bases that were attacked already earlier was of course great. Another move up there towards the bottom where we have the Mutalisk flocks meeting each other again. 20 against 21. Very, very similar, but still no attack upgrade for Life. Life doesn't have that attack upgrade, but he will in just a few seconds, as you can see there. It's nearly done. Another attack over here. The Queen actually sniped. Great move, denying the injects and therefore the larva. In the main base, the Zerglings, the Queen doesn't even help out with that. Life is missing a few injects. That Queen is on full HP, or on full energy, nearly. But we have that battle again with Mutalisk versus Mutalisk, and this time Life is fighting on even footing with his opponent. He's currently looking at the 1-1 upgrades, and he's actually doing quite well here. It's still a pretty even fight between the two of them. The rest of the Mutalisks are moving in, and Impact needs to realize that he is suddenly outmatched. He's down in the amount of Mutalisks and needs to yield, and that's what he does. This game is just going absolutely toe-to-toe. At this point, we have actually 19,000 resources against 18,000. A difference of 1,000. Doesn't matter, though. And just that Life won those earlier trades with Mutalisk, with him having more like less upgrades. The only Mutalisk battle that he kind of lost was this one over here. At first he won it, but then the Mutalisk got chased all the way up to the top left corner where they couldn't escape, and then he lost a fair amount of them. So it looked like it was winning the fight, but the problem for him was just like he underestimated a bit the Mutalisk that were streaming in from the 3 bases that we saw for Impact. So Impact got the superior count up and took that. But for now, if you look at the units lost once again, Live in total only lost 3 more Mutalisks than his opponent. He won that fight down there, like pretty big. If you look at the Harvesters lost, the Zerglings lost, everything, Live lost more than his opponent except for the Banelings and for the Queens. And that Baneling hit at the beginning, of course, that was another definitely highlight in this game. But now we have them still both focusing on that. Attack towards the left side, trying to take down the Harvester count again. Live still has more, 47 against 42. It's a slight difference, but it's something that adds up over time. Another attack right here. Impact is threatening especially the gas income of his opponent. But he's 24 against 22 Mutalisks. No additional upgrades are being started by the players right now. The +2 attack or armor upgrade has not been started. The death ball is real though. They are going at it again. There's no support right now. This is all about the focus. The Mutalisk actually for Impact moving in very, very late, and he got rolled in this fight. Look at that stutter step here. Impact is losing everything. All of his Mutalisks are down 20 against 8. This was the battle that Life was hoping for. He's defending his own natural at the same time against Zergling run-bys, and now he has the momentum. Now he gained the advantage, the upper hand, with 110 overall supply against 70-88. An army supply, as you can see, they have 62 against 32. He's in a great spot. He takes the Mutalisk of his opponent up at the top of the map, and those Queens, lending their strength and energy for the transfuse into the battle, can't even help him out. This is just too much that he lost there. Resources lost suddenly, nearly even. Actually, Life is taking the lead, and there's the GG as Impact. He yields the position, and we have a 1-1 situation in the best of 5 with Life taking the first victory and tying up the series. And we're going to head into game number 3 now, of course. Alright, game number 3 in the best of 5 series, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. We have Life going up against Impact at the second semi-final of the Caseking Christmas Cup. And up to the top of Catalina, we see Life, who just equalized the score in the best of 3. It's a 1-1 now against his opponent Impact, starting to the left side of the map. Very well done in the last match by Life, and Impact got very aggressive in the first game with his early pool. This time it looks more and more like we're not going to see that early pool shenanigans anymore. Overlord already started for both of them, and with me now is Todd. How was your food?
Pretty good, man. And by the way, quite a bit of money in this tournament. Like, this is an at least 500 euro match, right? Because like, yeah, loser here wins 200 euro and winner wins at least 700, maybe 1,000. So pretty good money just before Christmas, man.
The one thing that I think a few people also didn't understand just yet, because we were talking about like players that lose their game getting like 200 euros, which doesn't really sound like a lot, but if you think about them finishing as like 4th players and 3rd players, that's actually a lot, because most of these tournaments that we have just distribute the money between like the top 3, the top 2, or the top 4. So for players, this is amazing, because they know doesn't matter like how much time I spent there, at the end of the day I'll win something. I go home with some kind of money, and for players, especially with Christmas around the corner, that's always cool.
Well, why didn't you put different prize, I mean, or basically play a 3rd place match?
That was just like a wish. I've thought about it, and then at the end it was the decision to just like not go for the bronze match. Oftentimes the bronze match feels like a bit of a forced addition, you know?
Yeah.
So that was the main reason why I said like, okay, we're going from the semifinals straight into the final and have that done.
Alright.
Well, in the game here we have already a bit of a change. Well, actually, like, we do not see gas for Impact. Life has started with gas again, and Life really likes to be aggressive in every matchup. Not only in Zerg versus Zerg, but we've seen his style against Protoss. We've seen him play also on the first day, of course, against First here, and now he wants to have that early gas again, so that he can that he can be the player who makes the initiations. He's being the player who really starts the trouble. Life is a bit of a troublemaker.
Yeah, but he got a taste of his own medicine in the first game. So
oh yeah, that game.
It's always nice to see somebody like Impact, you know, really bring it. And you know, it's funny like to have a like double rematch from the previous DreamHacks, by the way. Like this was the finals of Bucharest, back when Impact had a sick run, and then I think he beat Jedong, and then he ended up losing to Just Life in the grand finals. And if Life was to win here, it would be again another rematch of Life versus 4GG, which happened at DreamHack recently again. So pretty cool to see those, I guess, sort of semi-rivalries, because they haven't met all that much just yet, but like, you know, kind of develop and see these guys play a bit.
Yeah, when Impact is, I mean, I said it earlier, it's exactly what they've been talking about, like underestimating a player, and I feel Life might have made the mistake in the first game. It's also nice to see that Impact just has no respect for him whatsoever. Well, not in the sense that he doesn't have any respect for him as a player per se, but like that he doesn't play from an intimidated point of view. That's more what I wanted to say there. Huh?
That came out wrong.
Yeah, that came out very wrong, I know.
Pretty ballsy third base here by Life, which is, by the way, a fake. He's showing that third base, basically saying, yo, I'm playing gritty, what are you going to do about this? But no, in fact, he's not making drones, he's getting a ton of links, and this is a fake.
Yeah, but you know what happened? Like, Life shows the third, and Impact builds a spine crawler. So, as soon as he sees the third base, he starts playing defensive. He must have seen something else on the map. He probably just assumes with the gas.
Yeah, he just knows.
He saw the gas, so I guess that's what he's basing this on.
Now he saw the Lynx move out, he's gonna try to place his queen so that he can defend. If Lynx were to get through, and God knows Life's Zerglings are known for that.
I think they're just smaller than other Zerglings. Smaller, meaner, and stronger. And they're just like busting through there. I mean, the energy on the queen is just there now, but the Zerglings for Impact are there just at the right time. But the third base is already completed. Life has a third base now, so he can start saturating that. He has the extra larva, and I feel this is one of the things that is nearly as important as having the third mineral line, just having that extra production as a Zerg player.
Yeah, but Impact is forced into an all-in here, I feel. He has less drones, he's getting a bailingness. No, he's actually droning up. Wow, I don't think he realized how far behind in walkers he is. I guess that's a way to kind of come back in terms of walkers, but now Life is going to completely outproduce him in Zergling. So Life took the initiative, and so far, I really like where it's brought him in this game, because Impact, you know, he has the double evolution chamber that he can't really use, that if he chose to use will delay his third base a lot against somebody who already has one. So he's going to have to make some drastic choices here very soon.
Like, this is so amazing. Like, if you look at that, Impact is making the transition into a Roach Warrior now. But think about the position that we have here. A third base for Life. He has the same amount of harvesters. He has more harvesters. And look at that aggression. Like, how is he squeezing those extra units and structures out? He's taking the first queen. The second one just barely survives. He's still trying to push through here. And he is doing so much on the map. If you compare the units, there are Banelings for him. He has a third base. He has more harvesters. The same amount of Zerglings. Like, how does he squeeze that in? It's crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. Life is.
Does he start with 300 minerals more than his opponent?
He's actually playing Legacy of the Void right now. He starts with 12 drones, Khaldor.
Oh God, he's been sent back from the future. Is that what you're saying?
He's a T. How much? T9000.
Wow.
Oh, Impact. He has started a layer at his natural here for a second, and now cancels. I think Impact might just go like full slow roach all in.
Dude, I think Impact might just like go for a very, very slow and painful death here. We have because Life also is now with the +1 attack upgrade started, has a Roach Run too. We have a lair completed for Life. We have him with a great harvester count, saturating 3 mineral lines, or starting to, having a good army. There's not really a massive bank for Impact. Life is going to meet those Roaches 1 for 1, and he has a +1 attack upgrade on the way.
Yeah,
and he will have speed.
Impact realizes that every decision that he can make is bad, because there is no good and viable option for him. But he's going to have to make one eventually, and he chose to start a third base. And he restarts lair, so I guess he's going to try to play it standard and just go into roaches and get speed. The thing is, his lair starts as Life's road speed already started.
Yeah. And like with the roach speed that we see for Life, he can engage and disengage at will. He has his own overseer now, just scouting what's happening there. Sees that lair tag, and I think Life is having a blast right now just looking at this. He's probably just wondering, he's like, there has to be more to this. Like, he probably is thinking, like, what is he doing? That can't be all that he has. Like,
You can
how did he do
join
that?
Khaldor.
Huh?
It's more walkers, by the way, right now for life. So I mean, from now he can only make units, roaches. That's what he's doing, and I think he's just gonna attack with mass speed roaches and just finish it.
This game is incredible by Life. I mean, Impact played so well. The first game was awesome. The second game that we had there, Impact really playing on eye level with Life and oftentimes looking like he would be able to take it. But right now, Life is just playing on a completely different level with everything that he has. On paper, he's looking so good, just like that roach count alone. 28 to 16 with speed and +1, and he's building 13 more as we speak.
Yeah, this is pretty bad news here for Impact, who's still trying to do his best in keeping up with the roach counts. Is up to 24, but there is 38 for Life, who already has his +1, by the way.
Yeah, the +1 is coming to play right now, the roach numbers too. The queens are helping out with that defense here, but Life just doesn't care. He goes for the trade, and you know, any trade that he takes right now is gonna end in his favor. Even uses now the Contaminate against the hatchery to just slow down the lava production here, so that the production is not gonna be an issue for him. He is 40 supply ahead without a major battle. Well, this is the first major battle that we have right now. The Spine Caller there is not gonna do anything either. GG, and Life with an amazing game takes the lead in the best of 5 series.
Oh, Life wants his rematch against 4GG, man, let me tell you.
Game number 4 between Impact and Life. The Zerg versus Zerg, the mirror match. Foxtrot Labs is the map. Top right, we have the Axiom player. Down 1 game in the best of 5 series, and at the bottom left, his opponent, Life. Life has won 2 matches in a row now. If he takes another map, then he is going to be the victor of this series and moves on to the finals to face 4GG. And we were talking a bit, like Ton and myself, about who's gonna go for the pool first, and as it happens, neither one of these players is going into an early pool at least, but let's find out if one of them starts with a hatch first and the other one favors the pool over that.
Yeah, on this map, I guess the way the map is set up around the natural bases, do you think it's better to go for something like maybe skipping roaches, you know, and go for baneling either offensive or defensive? Or do you think it's still very possible to go for something like directly into roaches?
I feel directly into roaches is always tricky, so usually at the beginning the baneling nest is something that you should definitely get. Like skipping that, especially when you're up. Put yourself in Impact's position. Life did so much pressure with the Zerglings already in the last game, and he really loves to do that. So if I was Impact, I would be very, very uncomfortable going into roaches directly against someone like that. So you can always try more, but I feel you have to get the baneling nest first so that you can at least defend. Both of them, by the way, with the hatch first attempt here.
Yeah, I mean, the guessing game still continues. And it looks like you might be right as to who will start. No, Impact starts on drones.
No, I'm actually wrong. We have double drones started for
Shocker.
Impact. He's playing a bit more. Hey, you said you would have said the same thing.
Yeah, but then I said that. Then now I don't because you predicted it.
D-bag.
How do you like the build here, shaping up of Impact? Like starting his poll a little bit later, I guess should be an advantage because he made the gas before, but
it's not
too long before.
It's not gonna be a big difference. Like it's not really gonna matter at the end of the day. Like you try to squeeze out a few advantages, but usually it doesn't really come into play. It's even like the change that you have between like going into the spawning pool first into hatch versus hatch first. In terms of productions, is oftentimes the same since you get the earlier queen and have then the injects, whereas your opponent has the hatch a little bit earlier for that extra lava. So oftentimes, if nothing else happens, if nobody plays aggressive or something, you end up at roughly the same level.
All right. We'll see in a second here if either of those guys wants to go into baneling at first, which wouldn't be surprising. You covered that a little bit. Overload placement, I guess, on this map is really gonna help in seeing anything come. Like, there is really only one exit. Like, unless you have some sick strategy where you take out the debris in like 1 minute chrono, it's really nice that you can see very early like what's headed for you. And for now, it's just gonna be a mirror. At what point does the mirror production tab start diverting, you think?
Basically, just when they start to make a choice, then later on, like for example with Life, we had Spire in one of the games, and then it's always the question: do you go for the Spire attack or do you go for something else? But I would expect that we're going to see the Roach battle on this map anyways, so I don't really think there's going to be a whole lot of different builds. I really can't see that going past the Roach phase, to be honest, not from the way that the last 3 games went. Like usually at some point, if it goes like in a longer game, you would expect one of them to add like a Hydra Den 2, or at least go for a few Infestors and just like help those Roaches. But from the way that they played the last 3 matches and from the aggression that we saw there, I highly doubt that we're gonna get past a Roach phase. We are starting already with Banelings and with Zerglings, so with 16 Zerglings building for Impact, you can really see that both of them, or at least Impact, is gonna go for another aggressive match. And I feel like the most that we're gonna see here is Roaches trying to just put that into the next stage, but I feel like they're gonna try and finish it there.
And Impact is already making a big batch of Zerglings here, so he wants to be the aggressor. He wants to try and again give Life a taste of his own medicine, but Life, I was worried for a second they might try to skip the Baneling list, maybe, but I mean, against somebody as aggressive as Impact, and himself liking to be aggressive so often, it makes sense that he got it, and that he's now gaining Banelings and getting ready to defend.
Yeah, and the Queens are there at the front too. He gets a Spinecrawler as well. There's a lot of Zergling. Needs to be careful that they don't rush into the base. Both of them have speed. Banelings are there. It's all about the Baneling detonates, and one of them actually not really doing all that well, but right now Impact is really looking reluctant to engage against this. This is about the snipes right now. The first Baneling is already gone, the second one, and he denied all of them. Oh, but the Queens are very, very low. Most of the Zerglings are gone. Only 4 get into the main base, yeah. But Impact suffered a lot of losses, and the biggest problem for him was that he was behind in Harvesters for a long time. He caught up. He rebuilt Harvesters during this, but Life is now ahead in overall supply. Both
players micro was sick here, by the way. Like Life with the great defense, but Impact never really like badly engaged. Got a huge detonation of Banelings off on his Zerglings. He always pulled back right on time. But in the end, really that decision of Impact to go so aggressive early on against a Life that was ready is going to place Life just quite a bit ahead.
Yeah, and another thing is that Life is now going for the aggression again, because he knows that he has the bigger army. He also scouted his own main base to make sure that there are no Zerglings hidden by Impact that could just like blindside them with a few Banelings moving into the mineral line. And here comes the Roach Warrior now for Life, a bit faster, but he sees now the double Queen and also the Spinecrawler. He's not going to try and commit there. I love that Baneling at the top of the ramp for Impact, just to make sure that even if there's a run by into the main base, he can face it.
Yeah, trying to get a shot maybe on one of the Queens. So baited the shot from the Baneling, so he's trying to get some drones now. Not gonna get anything, I think. Life has killed 4 workers so far for just 1 for Impact, and the Spire starts right in front of that one little link of Life.
Yeah, it actually finishes. Oh, the Spire, sorry, yeah, of course, like, the lair is already finished, the Spire starts, he knows what's going on with that. And he himself, with a Roach Warren, and also having the Hedge here, he can actually just like try to put pressure onto Impact before the Mutalisks are even becoming an issue. And if
he doesn't have to, right?
No, he doesn't have to. He could, with the 3rd base that he's currently getting, if he gets Spore Crawlers and just like sits tight on 3 bases, with denying a 3rd to Impact for now, he can just like switch the tech up, go into whatever, and run it with a better economy that he's gonna have.
Impact with a little bit of a later 3rd base, then his opponent, oh, cute move here, gonna drop some creep over there and bring the Spinecrawler. He's already taking the gases there, so he's gonna go up to 6 gases very quickly, and we'll see exactly how many Mutas he wants to get. I don't think he wants to stay on Mutas. When do you get the Roach Warren behind the Mutas usually when you open Mutas?
Well, only if you have to. Usually you're running rather with Mutalisks and Zerglings. The Zerglings for the run-bys, the Mutalisks for the damage. I really want to see rather what Life is going to do, because he has a few Roaches out on the map, but now that Mutalisks are in play, he needs to get something that he can do with those. So he needs to either go... There it is, Infestation Pit for Infestors.
Impact just cancelled the gases, by the way, that he was making on the 3rd base. I don't know why.
I actually don't know why either. He should get the gases for sure.
I guess, like, because that really made me wonder when he took those gases if he wants to go like full Muta, which I don't think will be good. Maybe he realized that he doesn't need them yet.
He really transitions out. He goes for the Roach Warren here. Yeah. Life already has that Infestation Pit nearly done, and he also has the +1 attack upgrade. He is on 3 bases a bit faster. Harvester count is roughly the same. So far the Mutalisks actually didn't really do a whole lot. Also didn't kill a lot of Overlords.
Yeah, there was
not a single one. Not one.
Life was perfectly ready. I guess he sent everything back home except that one overload on the top left, which I don't think will be found. So that's pretty cool. Not gonna be supply blocked and not gonna lose anything. Well, I guess, as I said, that starts losing some banelings, but yeah. No major losses here for Life.
Yeah, but now those Mutalisks are really starting to do some work. Killing Overlords, suddenly getting here right into the face of the opponent, but one of the Mutalisks down, 2 down. Okay, that kind of negates everything that he just achieved.
You want to talk about the Muta control again?
I mean, against Spore Crawlers, it's difficult. Like, you move into the range once and the Mutalisk is immediately dead. But he gets good snipes against the Queen. He killed 2 Queens, he killed an Overlord, but he lost 2 of the Mutalisks. I feel like there are definitely players that have better Mutalisk control than he does, but in a Zerg versus Zerg, going up against Spore Crawlers, I don't blame him if he loses a Mutalisk now and there. It's just like, the stuff that he killed, he kind of lost too many Mutalisks to really look at this and say, okay, it was still worth it.
Let's see when Life chooses to move out or going. Oh, the infestors were spotted, so that's gonna basically tell Impact he needs to move back, and those roaches burrowed are gonna just walk right under an Overseer. That's always nice.
By the way, pretty lucky, or at least like Life was a bit unlucky because he didn't have enough energy for a fungal that he could use to just nail those in a Mutalisk. So that was a bit of a problem there for him. But overall, Life is again taking nearly a 20 supply lead, and the double upgrades, I'm really liking those for him.
If you look at 10 overloads being made.
Yeah, if you look at the upgrade tab, speed for the roaches, the burrow upgrades, tunneling claws, speed for zerglings, pathogen glands, +1. He gets +1 armor. He gets the second attack upgrade. He has so much here right now, and that's really, really nice here for him. But in terms of army supply, he needs to be careful. He's a bit ahead, but with all those roaches now on the map, if they get caught, then he is in a bit of trouble. He's going to lose quite a lot.
Life is gonna hate the timing, isn't he?
Well,
like earlier infestors, they are gonna build up an energy. Like surely he should be aiming to go for a timing, right?
Yeah, but for timing he needs something else. He needs Hydras now, and he's building them. He has the Hydra den nearly done. I feel that the roaches and the upgrades that he had for them were like more designed to just move in and take quick, take 1 or 2 units down. But now he showed that he has tunneling claws, so we have Overseers for Impact, 3 of them. So he will see him moving in, and Impact is using the map advantage that he has to take a 4th base now, and is also transitioning out into Infestors. I think as soon as Life has a decent count of Hydras, he can really move out and do a lot of damage there. But he's actually...
Life is still so great ahead.
Yeah, Life is meeting the attack of like Impact. Impact can't move back against the Infestors. That's not gonna happen, and Impact is in a really bad spot right now. I don't know why he attacked against this. I really don't understand this.
Yeah, it looked like one of those weird attacks that he probably himself doesn't even know why he did, and he might get punished for it. He's getting chased down now. Life with a lot more supply. He must some Hydras out.
He must have misread that. From our point of view, where we see everything, this made no sense whatsoever. He was significantly down in upgrades at this point already, and he also had less roaches. Only the Mutalisks made the difference, and Mutalisks against roaches are not really a great unit. There's too much armor on the roaches, especially with those upgrades that we have. Life is just steamrolling Impact there, and Impact did him a huge favor by him attacking into the 3rd base. He must have misread something there.
Yeah. Impact thought that maybe he could do some damage, but no, Life was ready. 100 army supply now to 48. Life is even having some fun burrowing in the middle of the fight. Telling Impact, get out, you lost.
Yeah, this is not looking good, like not at all. Hydras are being built now, so the Mutalisks, they are currently enjoying their freedom up there in the air, but that's not gonna last for too long either. Once those Hydras are there, it's lights out, and there they are already, with a few infested Terrans just sniping one Mutalisk after another. This is game. Life takes the series, he takes the semi-final with a 3-1, and this means that our final is going to be 4GG versus Life, a 6 series incoming after our Zerg versus Zerg ended in favor of the start hill.